Hi, Mitch Bailey here. Well, I'm sure that you're aware of this sales gimmick. Act now before it's too late, or get yours before we run out. This sales ploy relies on what is called FOMO, fear of missing out. And some companies use this sales technique in all their advertising because it works. Even Amazon uses it during their Amazon Day with limited time offers or lightning deals. In some cases, this could be the real deal, and in others, you would find that the deal wasn't either that great or the price didn't change after the deal was over. It was really intended to get you to purchase now. Okay? Years ago, I swore that I would never use this sales ploy to sell an air conditioning system. Yet, here I am telling you that you need to act now before it's too late. Well, you don't have to act immediately. However, you need to decide before the end of the year. Let me explain. The EPA was given the authority with the AIM Act, the American Innovation and Manufacturing Act of 2020, to ban manufacture or the import of HVAC equipment using R410A. R410A has been the standard refrigerant for our industry for more than 2 decades. R410A was the replacement refrigerant for R22. R22 was banned because it had a high ODP, or ozone depletion potential, and was considered back in the 80s as one of the causes of the hole in the ozone. However, today the EPA is now banning 410A equipment starting January 1st, 2025, because 410A has a high GWP, or global warming potential. The trend has shifted from ozone depletion to global warming, and now GWP is the current hysteria for environmentalists. The 2 new refrigerants that are being considered to switch to are R32 and R454B. Daikin, the largest manufacturer of equipment in the world, has landed on using R32 in their systems, along with most of the other overseas manufacturers like Mitsubishi and Fujitsu, while most of the United States manufacturers like Trane, Rheem, Carrier, and Lennox have chosen R54B. These new refrigerants are designated as an A2L refrigerant, which is considered mildly flammable. Because of the A2L classification, the new equipment will have leak detection built into them that will shut the unit down if a leak is detected. This is so as not to risk a fire or an explosion. However, I'm not trying to scare you with the potential of fire, because with the amount of refrigerant in residential systems, the chance of an HVAC system causing a fire is about the same as getting struck by lightning twice on the same date. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that you shouldn't wait for the new refrigerants, and I'm not a fan of frightening the customer, but I am a fan of saving the customer money. And in this case, it is not just FOMO or the threat to the environment isn't really there, or your house might catch fire. It's because of the savings, and in this case the savings are real, since next year 410A equipment will be no more. The worst part is that all manufacturers are telling us that the new equipment with these new refrigerants will cost anywhere between 20 and 30% more for a typical system today, that you could save over $4,000 by replacing it now with a 410A unit, compared to waiting till next year for the new equipment using the new refrigerants. I don't know about you, but $4,000 is a lot of money. Another factor, the new equipment isn't even being made yet. Most manufacturers haven't made the switch and are trying to make as much 410A equipment as they can so they will be able to meet demand. You might be asking, why not wait? The new refrigerant is better for the environment, right? Well, yes, it is supposed to be better. However, what you don't realize is that we are required to recover and reclaim any refrigerants that we use. In other words, the only refrigerant that may get into the environment is what might have leaked out, and that is a very infinitesimal amount when looking at the overall picture and number of systems out there. When you add in the cost increase for the new equipment, then I think it makes much better sense to replace the system now before the new requirements kick in and save all that money. Another question I get asked about this switch is the availability of R410A in the future. Some customers are worried that in the future they will not be able to get R410A. Well, this is really not a phase out of R410A in as much as it is a phase down. In other words, they will be reducing the amount of R410A that can be produced each year and will eventually end in 2036. That's 12 years from now. In 2036, they will ban the manufacture of R410A. However, we still will be able to use recycled and reclaimed R410A the same way that we are able to get R22, even though the manufacture of R22 was banned 14 years ago. The only problem with getting R22 is that it is damned expensive right now. However, the industry came up with a drop-in replacements for R22 like 422B, which is a third the cost of R22 and works just as well. The same thing will happen with 410A. The industry will come up with a drop-in replacement for R410A just like they did for R22. I use the same reason of why I switch customers from furnaces to heat pumps. I don't switch them because of environmental reasons. I switch them for the economic reasons. Heat pumps cost less to run than a gas furnace. If you feel you're doing your part to save the planet and go all electric, then more power to you. No pun intended. But for me, it's all about the dollars. That being said, the current cost per kilowatt in PG&E territory, where their new rate increases, has shifted my opinion for PG&E customers. It's simple math. When the cost per therm of natural gas is below $270 a therm, it is cheaper to run a gas furnace than a heat pump based on current PG&E electric rates. The problem with natural gas rates is they are constantly changing, and several times during the last few years, natural gas soared above $3 a therm, and running a gas furnace was then more expensive than running a heat pump in PG&E territory. Another factor is all the rebates in California for heat pumps, and if you factor in the rebates and tax incentives, a heat pump then will still come out as the best option for a PG&E customer. However, if PG&E rates continue rising and natural gas prices remain as low as they are today, then I'll have no other choice but to recommend a furnace over a heat pump. Of course, if the customer already has solar, then it's a no-brainer to switch from a furnace to a heat pump, no matter the utility district. However, if you live in Modesto Irrigation District, Turlock Irrigation District, Merced Irrigation District, Lodi Electric, or Sacramento Municipal's Utility District, then it still pencils out based on current electric rates for those districts to install a heat pump. Rates from these other utilities in California can be almost half of PG&E rates. And in these utility districts, it really does pencil out to switch from a furnace to a heat pump. In fact, there are usually enough savings on the customer's energy bill to pay for the system in less than 10 or 12 years. Think about it. The HVAC system you'll be using every day will save enough money to pay for the cost to replace it in only a few years, and after that, it will actually put money in your pocket. Consider an investment that will pay dividends. Plus, the new equipment will come with a 10-year parts warranty for peace of mind and a 2-year labor warranty from us. All right. To aid in your decision, our technicians have forms that allow them to quickly calculate your savings based on your electric rates and the old system cost to run, compared to what the new system would cost to run and install. If you're interested in knowing, they can give you a quote on a new system and the costs, giving you the best information to make a good decision. Okay, in conclusion, don't wait for the new refrigerants to come out. Do yourself a favor and save thousands of dollars now over the next year's prices. In addition, take advantage of all the incentives and rebates that are currently available and consider switching from a furnace to a heat pump if you're not in PG&E district. In the strongest terms, I would recommend that if your equipment is currently over 13 years old, to really consider if it is worth keeping or going ahead with a new system before we lose R410A. In this case, the fear of missing out is a real thing. If you have any questions, I want you to get a hold of our office, give us a phone call. We'd be happy to send you some information and maybe some links to some videos. Thanks so much for watching. This is Mitch Bailey. Have a nice day.